welcome to the grand opening of our first 2019-2020 show. We're so happy to see you all here supporting this season's art project, and especially so early in the year. I know it's a bumpy start. It's so much fun to see the staff and the students supporting what goes on here. We received a lot of submissions for this show, so we think it's going to be a fun year with the 8 shows we have planned total, which is a lot more than last year.
SAP is where I feel like I'm in a community. Like it has, it feels like I belong somewhere.
Yeah, so the Student Art Project is really just an opportunity for art students at McLean to have a bigger role in showing their work to the entire McLean community, because as we all know, sharing art is the best form. And so what we do is we hold monthly or so art galleries where we collect work from all students at McLean, and then we showcase them right in the front lobby, so students come in during the morning, they can see it right there front and center.
I think the whole part of like having this freedom is that students are the people who are like leading this galleries and all these like art projects, and it's not only the teachers who are like involved, but also the students.
And it's so much easier and so much more helpful to have people to kind of like help back up, or either like, I don't know, even like help make like criticisms, like other students standing behind you and telling you where this piece needs to go, or like what they think looks better is so helpful.
It's like a real team effort.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is that inclusivity communicates and translates into belonging. And so by including all these different types of artwork, these different subjects, these different mediums, from all different types of students, we have freshmen submitting all the way to seniors submitting who've been submitting for many years. We have beginners, we have experienced artists. It's having that space open to everyone that encourages people to relate to pieces and be like, I can do that too, or maybe I speak to this piece, but maybe not this one, but I've been exposed to a different community or a different perspective. So being open to everyone and literally accepting every single piece we show and finding a place for it to put not only speaks a lot to how much we value our artists at McLean, but also how much the students value the art that McLean students put in.
Awesome.
So at SAP we have several leadership positions, which consist of 2 co-managers, which is me and Zainab, and then we also have 2 people that are in charge of the virtual and physical gallery, as well as a social media coordinator. And apart from that, we have just volunteers, more or less. Any student that signs up kind of for the National Art Honor Society can come to help out with us. And we kind of figure out, we break into smaller groups when we're actually setting up the show and everything to kind of manage the timing and everything.
They do, and yeah, they don't really have, I feel like they don't really have to know a lot about art, they just have to be passionate. And so that will like help them to learn a lot of stuff and to actively participate.
So as just a regular member, I do a lot of different things. I help out with setting up galleries. I once helped design the Halloween show. Just whenever we have some sort of meeting, I normally just come to participate because I enjoy it.
Awesome.
It marks 365 days in which we can express ourselves creatively and satisfy our wanderlust and share those experiences with everyone around us. And in order to fulfill this potential, we present the first 2019 exhibition of McLean Season's Art Project, Memorable Travels. And it's our first staff-only show in which we celebrate our faculty. And what you will see in the gallery today is just a glimpse into the diverse backgrounds and global experiences of the McLean community. There are participants from every department and photographs from 19 countries. It's been our pleasure to watch the series blossom to what it is today, and we look forward to seeing what aspiring artists may bring to this series in the future. We encourage you all to wander with them from the breathtaking mountains of Washington State to the fascinating wilderness of South Africa. But first, a few words of thanks from our season's art curator, Nadia Stairs.
It's been a great pleasure working on this project.
We also just have like trouble with certain themes. Like we had a pandemic theme at the beginning of the year and we were kind of lacking ideas. It was our first time getting back into the in-person gallery. We didn't really know what to do with all that space. So it was kind of an interesting process to just figure out where we would go from there, what pandemic meant to us, and how to kind of transform that into a gallery.
I think it's put it front and center because this gallery is right there in the front lobby. We're lucky enough to have a space for it. And so students can come in, they see it right then and there, even if they don't necessarily walk in, at least it's being presented.
Kind of based around the calendar, usually either a holiday or the season. So we have like the Halloween show, the winter show.
For every show, we kind of get together and like think about the theme and kind of just sketch out some ideas, which is the really fun part. But as we've kind of like moved along in the year, our role has like gotten more of like a team, like collaborative effort. Like we've seen, especially at this show, we just kind of got together and put it together as like a group instead of just us designing it, which I think is cool.
To move to a virtual gallery, but I think it did turn out well because we did find a good platform called ArtStep where we were able to like make our own like structure of the building and like really get that gallery set up. But I think that was a really huge challenge for us to kind of move from in-person to a virtual gallery.
So been so readily able to adapt. All of last year, all of our galleries were done virtually, and so students could access it straight from the tap of their phone. And so I really love the opportunity to sort of get the work out there in easily accessible ways for everyone.
It was a bit of a disaster. We had a lot of challenges to overcome, but in the end, I think it kind of like set the path for galleries we would have in the future, and just kind of like brought our community back together in person at the very least.
So it's like a lot of learning by experimenting.
Yeah,
It was definitely kind of like a trial and error process.
or like a learning curve.
Yeah.
The ones putting it together, and also I feel like as an art teacher it probably helps you with less stress of having to figure those things out.
I think a lot of it is leading by example, but then also trusting and entrusting your students with the responsibilities of doing it themselves. There's a lot of sort of agency and a lot of responsibility and personal responsibility that you learn from running these art shows, whether it be organizing a timeline, making sure you're hitting deadlines, organizing other staff members, other student members, organizing meetings. There is a lot of responsibility that comes with that, but as high school students, I think a teacher or a faculty member entrusting their students to take on that responsibility is something that goes a long way. But then also being there for the support and being there as sort of a secondary resource. So I think this is the 4th year. Yeah, so I was a freshman when it started, and now I'm a senior, so it's grown tremendously since I started high school, but it's been so great to see all the ways that the community's engaged, how it's grown, how the students have grown. But yeah, it's been a very staple part of McLean.
Leaders of SAP were able to learn independence. We were able to like launch our own art projects, and we were the ones who were leading these projects. So I think as for us, it really allows us to, it gives room for us to like start our own new art projects once we're in college or even beyond. So I think it really gives that sense of autonomy to us. So like we are not only following stringent guidelines, but we're also like we're experimenting with a lot of stuff on our own.
I think just the idea of making a gallery like with a whole lot of students was just really cool to have like put on your like responsibilities as just like an art student at McLean. I feel like that's gonna help us a lot in the future because not only do we create art like as artists, but now we also know how to like organize it and arrange it and make it look good so other people can appreciate it too. And I think that's something really powerful that will like influence our lives in college and after that.
I think what's so unique about SAP is that it's both encouraged and heavily supported by the administration, by the faculty, and that it is very much student-led. It's students that are organizing submissions, it's students that are renaming files, printing submissions, mounting work, hanging the work, and so it's really an opportunity for students to go the extra step in sort of the performance or the presenting of their work.
And that's what we kind of learned over the course of the year. Like originally, I don't know, personally I thought that it would be more like us designing and then like just like telling people like what the theme is and like kind of what our general ideas are, but it turned out to be a lot more of like a group effort and like everybody kind of contributing ideas together.
So much of it is making sure that you're, putting together a timeline. And again, it's that agency and that personal responsibility where you're the one doing it. You're not waiting for anyone else to hold your hand to help you along the way. And also working with the team. That's indispensable to literally any career nowadays. So having those skills necessary to talk to people, listen to people, ask questions, all of that I think is critical to wherever you go. And the art gallery also, a lot of it has to do with design, making sure what fits. And just like organizing a team or organizing any sort of project, it's sort of balancing a lot of different elements to figure out the perfect balance or to figure out where to go. So yeah, lots of skills that can translate in many parts of your life.